Hi everyone, I hope everybody's doing well. Today we're going to learn about how to classify triangles. And triangles are classified by two different names. The first one is by their angle name and the second one is by their side name. So we're going to start first with the angle names. There are three different kinds of angles that we identify them by. One is an acute angle. An acute angle is an angle that is, and 90 degrees is what we sometimes call a square angle because it's the angle that is on a square or a rectangle. So this is 90 degree angle, or it is called a right angle. Acute angles are anything that is less than that. So I'm going to use the red marker. So anything that is less than that, so like from here to here, that would be an example of an acute angle. It is less than the 90 degrees. Okay, we're going to go over the identification of each of these first, and then we'll look at the triangles to show how to identify. Next one is a right triangle, which is identified because it has one angle that is right. And again, the right angle is the angle that is on a square or a rectangle. This is 90 degree angle or a right angle. I'll just put that down there. And an obtuse triangle has one angle more than 90 degrees. So again, we're going to use the 90 degree as our basis. This is our 90 degree angle, and an obtuse angle is more than that. So it's going to be greater than the 90 degrees. As you can see from this, the 90 degree is our basis of determining if something is acute, right, or obtuse. If it's less than the 90 degrees, it's acute. If it's exactly 90 degrees, it's a right angle. If it's more than 90 degrees, it's obtuse. Now we're going to take a look at the triangles to determine which kind of triangle it is. We look at this one right here. If we look at this, we can see clearly that that is less than the 90 degrees, right? So this is an acute angle right here. We look at this one, we line up the paper on one of the lines, and it is less than the 90 degrees also, so that is acute. And we look at this one, line it up on one of the lines, that angle is also less than the 90 degrees. It is acute. All three angles are acute. When all three angles are acute, then it is an acute triangle. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. This one right here, we line it up there and it lines up exactly there. That is a right angle right there. Sometimes you'll see this in there to represent that that's a right angle. So this is a right angle, or it is 90 degrees, or sometimes called a square angle. Now if we look at this one is less than 90 degrees. This one is acute. And we look at this one, it's less than 90 degrees. This one is also acute. Every triangle is going to have two acute angles. It is only an acute triangle if all three of them are acute. So this one, two of them are acute, but one of them is right. So this is a right triangle. Now we look at the next one. This one is less than 90 degrees, so that's acute. This one is also less than 90 degrees. That's acute. This one, line that up here, we see this is greater than the 90 degrees. So this is obtuse. So again, every triangle will have two acute angles. So we look at the other one. The other one is obtuse, so this is an obtuse triangle. So when you're at first identifying a triangle, you first identify whether it is acute, right, or obtuse. And after you do that, then you can look at the side names to determine what that is. We'll move to that here right now. Okay, now we're going to take a look at triangles based on their sides. We have scalene triangles, isosceles triangles, and equilateral triangles. A scalene triangle, all three sides have a different length. The little line right here represents that that's one length, this is a different length, and this is a different length. All three of them are different lengths. When all three of them are different, it is a scalene triangle. An isosceles triangle has two that are the same length, and the third one is different. We could put like 2 right here to show that that is different. The interesting thing about isosceles triangles is that the two sides that are the same right here, if you go down to the bottom right here and look at the angles, these two angles are going to be the same. This is the same, and this is the same. Just a little piece of interesting information there. And then, so if 2 of the sides are the same length and the other one is different, it is an isosceles triangle. When all 3 of them are the same length, and that's kind of a distorted picture right there because they don't all look exactly the same, but they are. Let's pretend they are. All 3 are the same length. It is equilateral. Equal meaning equal, obviously. Lateral meaning sides. So that means the 3 sides are equal. And the interesting thing about equilateral triangles is that every single angle will always be 60 degrees. No matter what the length of the sides, if it's equilateral. And an equilateral, because each of these are less than 90 degrees, is also always an acute equilateral. Always. All equilateral triangles will always be acute because the degrees in each of the degrees of each of the angles is always 60 degrees. And let's go over some examples then of how to actually identify them now that we know how. Okay, this is an example of how to identify them. So we're going to first identify it according to the angle. So we check each of the angles, and that's less. I'm just put an A for acute. That looks like that's a right angle. So let's put R for right, and that one is acute. So the angle name would be right triangle. Now let's look at the sides. It has marked right here that these 2 are the same, which means that this one then is different. When 2 of them are the same, it is isosceles. So the complete name would be right isosceles. This one right here. Let's look at the angle. This has a right angle here. And we know since this one is right, the other 2 have to be acute. So our angle name is right. This has 1 line, this one has 2, so that means those are different. If those 2 are different, this one automatically is going to be different. And when all 3 of them are different, it is called a scalene. So the complete name would be right scalene. Okay, let's take a look at this one at the angle name. Has a right angle right here because of the little square, so that one makes it a little bit easier. The side name, this is the same as this, but it is different than this one. So that when 2 of them are the same, it is isosceles. And the complete name is right isosceles triangle. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Let's look at the angle name. Looking for my card. I don't know where I put it.
It's on the thing. Probably.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. So we look at the angle right here, and we can see this one is greater than the right angle. So this is going to be obtuse. This is going to be acute, and this is going to be acute. So since one of them is obtuse, then the angle name is obtuse. This has 1 line, this has 2, this has 3, meaning that all 3 of them are different lengths. When all 3 of them are different, it is scalene. And then the complete name is obtuse.
Scalene.
Scalene. And that's how you identify triangles.